began my own healing journey back in 2017. Over the past 6 years, I cannot even begin to say the gains that I have seen out of this very fulfilling journey. And in this video, I want to tell you what you really need to heal, lessons from my own journey. I will not assume that everyone knows my healing journey or my healing story, so first a short background. It was about around 2017 when I started getting what I usually call divine discontent, whereby you start feeling like you're not in the place that you're supposed to be, that something different needs to happen. And I remember that is the time I was doing online writing, by the way, for those who know online writing. And I remember I started feeling highly dissatisfied with my work. And then memories of how my father struggled with alcoholism started to haunt me. And I remember that is when I decided to start going to high schools to talk to them about alcoholism, to talk to the students about alcoholism and drugs. And I did. I did severally. But at some point, I felt I would actually do better if I had some knowledge, book-based knowledge, as opposed to just sharing out of my experience with my father. And that is now when I started, researching online, trying to look for courses that dealt with drug abuse and alcoholism, because at the time I could not even be able to go back to school. I was not in a position to go back to school. And I thank God I did not go at the time because I had not yet understood what is this that I wanted to study. And so I went online and I came across a course on Allison. Allison is a website that offers different free courses. And I enrolled. When I did, I realized that the course was not really about drug abuse alone, but it was about mental health. That is when I came across an explanation or a name for what I have been struggling with for so long. Now, let me take you back a bit. My father struggled with alcoholism for about 10 years, and we really, really, really suffered. I usually say if you never grew up with a chaotic parent, you got no idea how it is like to grow up with one. Because there was, for those 10 years, there was hardly any peace in our home. Sleeping outside was the norm, a lot of noise and chaos almost every single day, fights, sleeping hungry sometimes, not because you couldn't cook, but because there was no environment, there was no the right condition for cooking, and so on and so forth. So when I started learning, doing this short course on mental health that had drug abuse as one of the modules, I started connecting the dots and realizing I do this because of this. I have such a negative image about men, and my husband is a man. So when I'm judging him, I'm looking at him through the lens of my father. So I started, noticing patterns that when you when you grow up, or some of the things that affect a person's behavior and attitude as an adult, it is the kind of environment that they grew up in. And so that is when I developed a lot of interest on these things that you see me talk about. So I finished that course. I developed a lot of hunger for knowing even more. I enrolled for school formally, Amref International University, and I started a course on mental health practice. Now, studying is one thing, healing is another. But because I was so hungry to become better, I was so hungry to have a better life experience. Because let me tell you, when you are being chaotic, when actually you are wounded and you're doing things to your partner or ruining your relationships, you're also not happy. Because I was so eager to get a better life experience, a better marriage experience, I started applying the things that I would learn, and eventually, actually, by the time I was going for my therapy sessions that are part of the course that I was doing, I had already gone a long way in healing. And in this journey, I want to tell you exactly what you need to healing. And this is my own experience, of course, coupled with what I know about healing. The first thing you need for you to heal is to admit you have a problem. And this is where so many people struggle. But I'm not judging them, because let me tell you, it is not easy to actually face it and say, I think I'm the one who has been ruining things in a relationship, for instance. It was not an easy thing for me to do. Because what happens is when you are wounded, you also tend to be egocentric. you also tend to be, highly protective of yourself, thinking highly of yourself, and so on and so forth. So the last thing you want to find yourself doing is actually saying, I think I'm the one who has been screwing up things. And so it was not easy for me either, admitting that I think I'm the one who has been ruining things here in my marriage. I did it. I will tell you, it took a lot of soul searching. It took a lot of reflection, looking back and, noticing things. On this day I said this, then this happened. On this day I did this, then this happened. Connecting the dots and realizing that I would actually have had a better life if I did things differently. So actually, doing the soul searching is one thing, but telling your partner is another thing. Because let me tell you, most people who are wounded, they have actually been telling their partner that you are the wounded one. I don't know whether you know this. They are the one who has been telling the partner that I think you have childhood traumas that you need to do. If at all they know, that one. Actually, narcissistic people do this. They will admit they have a problem, but only when they want to manipulate their partner in one way or another. But here you are saying it genuinely and you mean it from the bottom of your heart. So that was quite hard for me, but I did it. And it was the beginning of a revolution in my life, honestly. Because when I remember how I was like before I started the healing journey and how I am now, honestly, it is a revolution that I have undergone. So not just admitting. Admitting alone won't help, won't improve a thing. It will just appear like, you're just seeking empathy from your partner. You're just manipulating them. So it is admitting you have a problem and then embarking on working on yourself. Before we go to the next point, have you subscribed to my channel? I kindly request you to do it. It means a lot. Let us go back to learning. Point number 2. The next thing that you need to do is to understand your problem. Honestly, the game changer for me, it was understanding the kind of a problem that I was suffering from. And because I know that there's so many people who are suffering from something they cannot put a name to, I am often very happy to share my free knowledge, to freely share my knowledge, what I have, what I've learned about healing on my social media platforms. If you have not followed me on Facebook, please do, because I share an average of 3 articles every day on these issues that I'm talking about. But either way, you need to commit yourself to understanding the problem, because you cannot fight something that you got no idea what it is. So get books, get self-help books. The other day, a friend asked me, how do you get reading materials? And I was telling her, I go to YouTube and I look for reviews of good books. If it is on a certain topic, I will search a review of a good book in this topic. And then I get the reviews, I get to know the title of the books, then I look for the books, either on the streets of Nairobi or whatever bookshop or whatever, or ebooks on the internet. So you need to understand what is this that you are fighting. You need to understand the nature of the problem, and also understand the solutions that are available. I understand that so many people are not able to go for therapy, because for me, like when you come to me, I'm able to break it down for you. What is this that you're struggling with and what you can be able to do. But even if you're not able to afford therapy, there are so many books that are out there. There's myself, I have written ebooks, by the way. If you got no idea absolutely where to begin, inbox me. My number is passing down here. Inbox me and I'm going to share with you a book, an ebook. It actually goes for Kenyan shillings 300. Honestly, it is something anyone can afford, and it is going to give you an idea what is this that you are ailing from. From there, understand what solutions are there. The reason why this step is so important, it is because it will give you an idea of the kind of commitment that you need to make. If you realize you need therapy sessions, you will start setting aside some money that will enable you to do that. If you realize that there are certain other things that you are going to need to do, like I will explain after this, then you prepare yourself mentally, because healing is a journey. I won't lie to you. I've been on it for 6 years. I'm still working on things, and let me not lie to you. Let no one lie to you. No one has everything put together. One of my favorite teachers on these issues that I'm talking about, she says she is still, and by the way, it is a woman who is maybe almost 60. and she says she's still, patching up certain things in her life, in the way she does things, in the way she perceives things, in the way she relates to the people. So it is a journey that you require certain a mental preparedness for you to be able to, go on it. But the good thing, and this is always what I'm telling my clients, the good thing, you will not need to wait until you get to the tail end of the journey, if at all there is such, for you to feel the gains. In fact, the gains start immediately you start the healing journey. You work on something, you start feeling the impact. So it is a journey that is fully worth it, but you have to be mentally prepared for it. The next thing that you need to do is to actually eliminate the things that have been sustaining your woundedness. Because let me tell you, trying to get healing when you have things that are pulling you downward, it is going to be extremely hard. It will be an uphill task for you. And what do I mean by the things or the people that have been sustaining your woundedness? First, sometimes and often actually, it is the people who are around us. The people who have been sympathizing with the way we are not able to do certain things, and the reason you have not been doing it, it is because of our woundedness. They have been sympathizing, making you feel it is okay, or actually you are helpless in, in whatever it is. It is the people who have been validating our woundedness, because perhaps that is actually also how they do things. If you have a group of friends and all of them behave a certain way towards their partners, I'm telling you, there is no way you are going to be able to work your way out of that behavior, because it is being validated every single day. So you may need to get yourself out of that space or get rid of those people from your space. Also, it is the things, not just people, the things that have been validating your woundedness. Sometimes it is the job that we are doing. You have been doing a job that you have been feeling, that by the time you start the healing journey, you really feel it is working against you. I don't want to mention jobs here because I don't want to profile them and say these are bad or these are not. But look around at what you have been doing all this time. Is it a job? Is it the way you spend your time? Is it the way the hobbies that you have been pursuing, and so on and so forth? What are these that have been sustaining your woundedness? Sometimes it is the places, your workplace, for instance, or other places that you visit, and they have been sustaining your woundedness. They have been making you feel it is okay to be wounded. They have actually, and when it comes to people, by the way, better not forget this. There may be some people who have been feeding on your woundedness. So they actually don't want you healed because they have been benefiting from it. Such people, you cannot have them and then make any progress in your healing journey. It is going to be extremely, extremely hard, because they will be pulling you back so that they can continue gaining the way they have been gaining all this time. So you need to create an environment that is conducive for your healing. Sometimes you have to even change the physical location. I have had clients and I told them, going by how your situation is, I honestly feel you need to change your physical location. Sometimes you have to do it. You have to be willing to make those sacrifices, actually. And I should have included that actually in my point. You have to be willing to make the sacrifices, to pay the price that you'll need to for you to heal. Myself, I did. And one way in which I did it is to actually get rid of certain friendships that I have that were validating woundedness, the way they were doing things. And let me tell you, you'll be told that you have become proud, you have become arrogant, and so on and so forth, but you know what you are going for, so keep going for it. The next thing you do is to commit yourself to the process and be patient while at it. Commitment, watu wangu, commitment. And when I talk of commitment, I mean, not being distracted by anything, by what those. Remember, I said in the previous point, there are people who are benefiting from your woundedness and they don't like it that you are no longer available. Committing, it is remaining focused, not looking at the distractions, not listening to people that you should not be listening to. Let me tell you, you will have to sometimes embrace being alone. Being alone, being alone in the house, not going to certain places you used to go because you understand they are going to distract you in one way or another. Looking at my own journey, commitment has been key. Commitment has been key because like I have told you, it is not a so easy journey. It has its own challenges. If you're not committed, you throw in the towel. Like there are times you feel like you're being too soft. You were used to responding to everything, not responding, reacting to everything, and sometimes even overreacting. You were used to when you're angered by a person, I have to reply right now. I have to revenge right now. I have to raise every concern I have right now. And here you are. One of the things that you are embracing is that you don't have to pursue something, everything that is thrown your way. Sometimes you feel like you're being too soft. Sometimes you feel like you're being foolish. How could I take that? But you didn't take it because you realized it was a distraction. So it requires a lot of commitment. It requires a lot of focusing your energy towards the journey so that you can be able to make meaningful progress. And about patience, you know what I usually tell my clients? This is not something that you learned overnight. These are things that you learned over many years. Like for myself, by 2017, I was how old? I was um, I was 29 years. Yes, by 2017 I was 29 years. And your personality or the way you do things, it is built right from the time you were small all the way to around scientists. I think they say that is 25, between 25 and 30. So it is something that you have done over many years. There is no way you are going to unlearn it overnight. Mhm. And by the way, this is where a helpful and supportive partner comes in. And I thank God because God has gifted me with one. A person will be patient with you, that there are times you will err, you will make a mistake, you never intended to say something, you find that you have said it, but they're patient with you because they are seeing you are committed. Can you see where the commitment is coming in? When they see you are committed, they are also likely to support you. So patience, you have to be extremely patient with yourself. You'll make a blunder, but unajiambia, Jennifer, it is still okay. You are doing this and you are on it. Keep going. Commit with patience. Point number 5, you have to exercise a high level of self-awareness and self-monitoring. I was talking to one of my clients the other day and I was telling her that what will sustain your healing, it is being self-aware. It is knowing this. In fact, it kickstarts the process as well. You remember I was telling you that you need to understand your problem. You become self-aware. You start knowing, when I'm angry, I do this. When I'm irritated, I do this. When I'm not, when I'm in a relationship, I don't trust. You realize that level of self-awareness. You are going to need to exercise it also as you go through the healing journey. Remember what I told you. It is not something that happens overnight or that flips and you change the behavior. So you are going to need to be aware and realize, I think at a certain point, I said something and I should not have done it. And what is this that made me do it? Maybe I was angry. Maybe I was stressed up. Maybe I was having something that was going on. Maybe I was not patient enough to obtain the facts before I react, and so on and so forth. You need to keep reminding yourself. You need to keep. It is a duty to self. Actually, it is a duty to self. You are not. You cease rolling over life. That is how I put it, because that is what many people do. Rolling over life, like you are being driven by something else. You are not the one in charge. You cease that kind of an attitude and an approach to your own life. You start being self-aware. You start looking at yourself, examining yourself. The other day, I was talking to one of my clients about emotional self-care, and I was telling her emotional self-care, it is about monitoring your emotions, uh, you know, disentangling them. So when you come from a certain meeting, for instance, or from meeting a certain person, and you realize that you're not feeling, there is something that has gone amiss, you don't just bury it. If you're not feeling good, there is something that is happening. So you sit down and ask yourself, why am I experiencing this kind of an emotion? What is this that happened? I will tell you, I do this a lot. I used to struggle when I was wounded. I used to struggle with reacting to my kids. And this is what so many women are doing, which is so sad, by the way, because they have issues that they have not resolved. And it is mostly kids, because they are mothers, because they are the ones who spend more time with the kids. Because these women have issues they have never resolved in their life. What do? They project them on their children. They displace their anger, their bitterness, whatever it is that they are dealing with, on their children. So, and I used to do it. And now I no longer do it, because If I get angry because my son has done something, for instance, that is not so desirable, I quickly realize I'm angry and I'm prone to saying something that I will regret. So what do? I tell myself, Jennifer, you have to calm down. You have to wait. This is not anything so big at the end of the day, because what is bigger than a child, than ruining a child with the humiliation and shaming and so on. So talking to myself, monitoring myself and noticing the gaps and what I need to work on, and giving myself time to work on it. And here is the beauty of it. The more you keep doing something, the more it becomes like a habit. And so I have noted that the things I would struggle with kitambo, even just doing something one-off, but now they come almost automatically. Like, for example, kitambo, I could not I could not sit on something for some time, waiting until I calm down so that I reset if it is an issue with my husband. I could not be able to do that. For me, it was now. You deal with it now. And sometimes it can work against you because now you are angry. You are likely to do things that you just make the situation worse. Perhaps you're actually exaggerating because a wounded person easily exaggerates things. So, and I started practicing waiting a bit until I calm down. And then I bring it when I'm in a position to do it in a polite way. Guess what happened? Over time, I realized I don't even struggle. Right now, I won't lie to you. If my husband did or said something that angered me, I can wait even for 24 hours. I can tell myself, this one I'm going to raise it tomorrow evening. And I'm in control. I'm in charge. I don't struggle. It eventually became my habit. It is my style. It is my way of doing things. And this is something I struggled with for such a long time. So being self-aware, monitoring yourself, being patient with yourself, you are going to unlearn and learn things, and you like what you'll find out about yourself. Lastly, this is what else you need to do. You need to celebrate every small win that you make. And let me tell you, some of us, we know how deep we had to come out of. The depth we needed to come out of. Because I can tell you, for me, I consider myself among those who had been kind of totally ruined by their experiences in childhood. In fact, my husband, when we reflect, he usually tells me, hey, your father had actually ruined the head of my wife. Okay, I have translated from Kikuyu. Like your father had really ruined my wife's mind, head. And that is exactly what had happened, because I had so many inner struggles that I was going through that it had made me a very unreasonable person, by the way. So for me, when I know the depth I have come from, when I know the efforts that I've had to make, when I know the progress that I have made, I'm very keen to celebrate every small win. Like I can tell you right now, the fact that I can sit with something and wait until I calm down, hey, I honestly feel like I'm on top of the world, because I know so many people ruin their relationships because they cannot wait patiently. They cannot wait to process something before they raise it up. They just rush, overreact, outbursts, and so on and so forth. So I want you, as you start your healing journey, make sure that you celebrate every single win that you notice that you have made. Because I'm telling you, these journeys can be quite challenging. If you're not noticing the progress that you're making and celebrating it, you can give up easily. I hope that you have learned something. And if you have, kindly subscribe to my channel. And if you want to have a session with me, a coaching or a therapy session, my number is passing down here. I will gladly hold your hand and see you in the next video.